Blackman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Chancellor for advance sight of this statement. I have to say that the gimmicks and gems that the Chancellor has presented today are nothing more than an effort to distract us from the crippling crisis that this government is dragging us into. And, Mr. Speaker, if that was meant to be a pre-election budget, if I was a backbench Tory, I would be quaking in my boots. In less than 2 months, we could face a no-deal Brexit, unless that threat is removed by the House of Commons today, supporting the cross-party bill to secure an extension. Mr. Speaker, the threat cannot be underestimated. We're standing here facing increased uncertainty due to Brexit, meaning the outlook for our economy and for public finances remains extremely uncertain. The economy has already taken a hit, as we saw GDP contracting 0.2% in the second quarter of 2019. As Paul Johnson of the IFS put it in The Guardian, making big fiscal announcements in a period of great economic uncertainty means we will have little idea how sustainable or costly decisions made this week will be. The risks are exacerbated by not having up-to-date forecasts from the OBR. And while the Chancellor has announced increased spending today, this will not help end austerity. It will only pause some of the hardship in the short term. Meanwhile, Brexit will bring lasting and long-term damage to our economy and to our citizens' livelihoods. With the economy already faltering, the Chancellor's predecessor has warned that a disruptive no-deal Brexit could have a £90 billion hit on the Exchequer and suggested there will be no money available. Mr. Speaker, a no-deal Brexit would be devastating for Scotland, with the potential to destroy 100,000 Scottish jobs and cost every person the equivalent of £2,300 a year.
Let's talk about your jobs.
Brexit's already caused UK manufacturing activity to contract in August for the 4th consecutive month to the lowest level since 2012. According to the BBC, sterling fell below $1.20 on 3rd September, to its lowest since October 2016. The Chancellor pretends his government is putting people first, when in reality his government is putting the cult of the Leave campaigners and their Brexit obsession before the interests of the economy and before the interests of citizens. But yesterday in Scotland, Mr. Speaker, the First Minister announced our programme of government, putting tackling climate change, protecting our economy and reducing inequality at the heart of our policy-making agenda. Here, we are talking about food and medicine shortages, talking about reducing opportunities for our young people and complete Brexit chaos. For the people of Scotland, this is a tale of two governments, and only the SNP Scottish Government is acting in our interests. The IFS is clear that pre-election bribes do not mean an end to austerity. The decade of austerity, which has cumulatively cut the Scottish Bloc grant by more than £12 billion in real terms, which has left people having to choose between heating their homes and feeding their children, and has reduced social security payments for disabled people 4 times faster than the cuts for others. If the Tories seriously wanted to make life better for their citizens, they would give Scotland its fair share. This means the Chancellor should repay the £140 million VAT owed to Police Scotland in refunds. Mr. Speaker, we have been arguing for years for the convergence uplift monies to be returned. There are 50 mentions of the convergence uplift in Hansard, 45 of those from the SNP, and most of the others in response to SNP questions. So I am pleased that the pressure that we and our colleagues in the Scottish Government have brought on this government has come together. It also means Scotland must get its £3.4 billion share of the DUP's dirty deal Brexit fund. So, Mr. Speaker, will the Chancellor rule out any new confidence and supply agreement with the DUP, giving them more money before we get the £3.4 billion that we are owed? Furthermore, it will appear that the Chancellor will overshoot his government's borrowing targets. Can he confirm whether this is the case? And can he tell the House now what borrowing rule changes he will bring in the budget? Can the Chancellor also guarantee that Scotland does not lose any of the EU funding that we currently receive? The UK Government must at the very least match the compensation scheme already put in place by the EU and Irish Government for the beef and suckler sectors in Ireland. And finally, Mr. Speaker, the Government must scrap the proposed £30,000 salary limit on foreign nationals. Scottish Government analysis has found the average EU citizen in Scotland adds £10,400 to government revenue and £34,400 to GDP each year. The proposed 30,000 salary limit on foreign nationals to the UK has been shown to be unworkable and it should be scrapped. Mr Speaker, while the Tories balance the books on the backs of the most vulnerable and the most disadvantaged, the SNP Scottish Government are leading the way to deliver a fairer Scotland.